Hey guys, Josh here and welcome back to Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town. And while most of the world is still waiting, unfortunately, for update 1.0.5 to come out, the Japanese version of the game, on the other hand, just got updated to version 1.0.6, which fixes quite a lot of bugs and brings a few interesting improvements. So I'm gonna go over all of this in this video, and I'm really hoping that 1.0.5 and 1.0.6 can both come out very soon for the rest of the world. But in the meantime, let's just jump into it and see what's new. So the first and most important changes with this update are in regards to the festivals. So today, as you can see, it's the 15th day of spring, which means it's the Egg Festival. And as you can see right here, we've got Victor and he has this little stall. So usually he would just stand and there wouldn't be any stall or anything. But now with this update, at every festival, the organizer is gonna have a little stall so you know who you have to talk to start the event. Overall, I think it's a pretty small change, but it still does add some immersion and just makes the event look a little bit more fun. And for the Egg Festival specifically, so all of the festivals with organizers will have the little stall, but the Egg Festival specifically has seen some changes. So you probably already know that you can take part in the Egg Festival either by yourself or with a partner. So if you do it with a partner, you're gonna have a cutscene where you guys are gonna chat a little bit and find some eggs. And if you do it by yourself, usually you would have a cutscene where there would be basically no dialogues and you just see your characters finding some different eggs. And to be honest, it was kind of a boring cutscene. So they've actually improved that a little bit. So let's check this out. So let's talk to Victor to start the event. So he's asking me if I want to go by myself or if I should invite someone. So I'm gonna go by myself this year. And let's see what happens. So here I am in the plaza, and then we've got Cindy and Mikey, and then Cindy says, "Hi Josh, if you don't mind, would you like to search eggs with us?" And Mikey says, "We're aiming for the top. We want to be the best egg hunters in this town." And Cindy says, "No, Mikey, egg hunter is kind of a really weird name. You shouldn't decide all by yourself." And then she says, "Josh, you're a rancher, right? So in that case, you must be really good at finding eggs, better than anybody else." And Mikey says, "We know the town very well, so if you work together, we're gonna definitely be the strongest team. So let's do the egg hunt together." And then Cindy says, "Thank you so much, Josh." And Mikey says, "All right, so let's start searching." And then they're searching for the eggs together. So it's a small change. It's still not an active festival where you have to find eggs. It's still just a cutscene, but the cutscene is a lot more interesting than what we've had before. And as you can see, they're all kind of searching together. So yeah, it does make it a little bit more fun than what it used to. And Cindy says, "Amazing, we got so many eggs, and I got a feeling that until now we're the ones who gathered the most." And then Mikey says, "Josh and us are definitely the strongest egg hunter in town." And Cindy says that maybe this year we're gonna be the 3 happiest people in town. So yeah, this is gonna bring us some good luck. And Josh says maybe next year you can join us again. And Cindy says, "Mikey, maybe Josh next year would like to join with some partner, so we shouldn't bother them." And Mikey says, "What?" "Yes, Josh, so if you don't have anyone to go with next year, please join us again. Yes, if you want, Josh, please play with us again sometime." And then the ending cutscene is the same as in previous years, as usual. Alright, so I think that was pretty cute, especially as the Egg Festival is the very first festival you get in game. So, of course, you're always gonna participate by yourself, like in the first year. So I think it's good that you get to know Mikey and Cindy a little bit more and have this very cute interaction. I think that's very wholesome and that's very cute. So these were the festival related changes that came with the update. And for the next changes, I'm just gonna wait until 2 a.m. Alright, so we're now getting closer to 2 a.m. and you guys may know that usually when you would hit 2 a.m., your character would just pass out and fall on the ground. But now things have changed a little bit, so let's just wait 10 more seconds to see what happens. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2 a.m. So now it just says, "It's time, let's go back home and sleep." And you just go home and sleep automatically. and you wake up at 10 a.m. just like if you passed out. So basically they just removed the passing out animation. I'm not too sure the reason why. I don't know if that was to gore or something. I don't know. I think it was a really cute animation. So maybe it was insensitive or something. I'm not too sure, but they did remove that animation. So now you just get this text saying, okay, let's go home, let's go sleep. And then you teleport to your home and you sleep. To me, that feels almost like a downgrade than an update. But there it is. So that's what happens now when you stay awake until 2 a.m. Alright, so the next change is in regards to the city request. So now when you complete a request, you get kind of a special little animation. So let's complete this request for Lynn and you guys will see what I mean. So you get this with the little olive stamp. And yeah, so that's one of the changes, and you get the same thing when you do a tool upgrade. So when you upgrade your tools, you're gonna get the same little animation. So previously it used to be nothing at all. There wouldn't be any animation whatsoever when you completed a request or upgraded your tool. It's just a tiny little change that maybe makes the completing the request a little bit more satisfying. And if you go back here, you can see the stamp one more time. And yeah, it looks pretty good. It's shiny and it's nice, but it's just a very small change. And for the next change, actually this one is quite interesting. I think we're gonna go to the shrine and you can do a special prayer, a special wish, and you can now rename not only your animals, so you can rename your animals now, first of all, and you can also rename your child. So if you mess up naming your child, you can go back here, you can change their name. And you can also change the name of your animals. So animals, chicken, mount pets, and the regular pets. So for example, if we go in the chickens, and I have this one right here, Fufi. So for example, if I want to change it to Fufi with 2 Fs, I just press plus, and yeah, you can rename your animals just like this. So I think that's one of the changes that I'm the most happy about, because it really actually does make a change. And yeah, it is something that's quite enjoyable. Sometimes you mess up or you regret an animal name. So you can now rename your animals and you can rename your child as well. Alright, so now we're gonna go into the smaller fixes and adjustments. And one thing that they've made is that they've adjusted the dialogues when you talk to a villager that's either fishing or eating. So let's check this out. So I just checked if their dialogues was any different than usual. However, I didn't notice any like food specific dialogues in this scene. So we've got Lovette here. He's also eating. So let's see if he has anything to say. But he's always talking about food, so I don't know if that's gonna work. So okay, he's talking about the egg festival and he's just saying that today's a nice day. Oh, but now he's talking about the lunch. So he says that at lunchtime he likes to eat slowly and just chill and like take his time and enjoy his meal. So I think that might be one of the food specific lines that someone would say just when they're eating. But it's Lovette, so he's also always talking about food, so it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, basically we've got new lines for characters that are eating and fishing. And speaking of lines of dialogues, if you have the expansion pass and you have access to Windswept Falls, they've added a few regular lines of dialogues for the 4 villagers that we have here. So I don't think they were going to be very noticeable right away. But yeah, it's good to know that they did add a few lines for these villagers as well. And before I talk about what's coming up next in 1.0.7, I'm just gonna go over quickly a few different bugs that they fixed. So they fixed one bug in regards to the childbirth event. So I think if you had the childbirth event and other events happening, like multiple events in one day, I'm not too sure of the specifics, but there was a case where you could have some issues with childbirth, so that's fixed. They also fixed an issue with the loading screen. Sometimes when you would leave your chicken coop, the loading screen would just get stuck and you would have to reset your game. And I've actually had this issue maybe 1 or 2 times, so I'm glad to see that's fixed. They also fixed a bug with Neil and Felicia. So sometimes when you would give a confession or proposal item to Neil or Felicia, you would get stuck and you would not be able to progress in your relationship. But that is now fixed, so you no longer have to fear getting stuck if you want to confess or propose to Neil or Felicia. And then without going into details, they just say that they fixed minor bugs and glitches. And one of these bugs that I noticed that they fixed is that from 1.0.5 you can leave buildings without pressing A, so basically just by walking through a door you could leave the building. However, if you came to Windswept Falls in 1.0.5, you still had to press A to leave them, but they fixed that in 1.0.6, so now you can just walk through the door and exit automatically. So that's one little thing that they fixed that I did notice. Yeah, nothing very special, but glad to know they're still working on these little bugs. So that's pretty much it for the changes that were introduced in 1.0.6. It's not as big of an update as 1.0.5, but we still have a few interesting changes. However, before we go, I want to talk about 1.0.7 because they did address it, and there's a few interesting things that they would like to do with that update. So the first thing that they mentioned is that they would like to bring some improvements to the town development, and they didn't go into any details as to what that would be. But as of now, sometimes the town development changes can be very subtle. Sometimes it's not very clear. Like when you upgrade the town hall, I'm not too sure. I think the clock changes a little bit, but the details are very subtle. And also when you change the road, there's no options to change the type of road. When you change the benches, there's no like options or anything like that. I don't know what they're gonna change exactly. Also, you've got these tiles, which are very cute, but you can't interact with them, you can't buy anything from them, so I don't know if that's going to be in the changes as well. But yeah, so that's one thing they would like to do. They want to improve the town development. And speaking of town development, by the way, I'm really curious as to what this area is going to be for. So we thought it was going to be for the DLC, but the first part of the DLC came out, Windswept Falls, and we go there by boat. And tomorrow, at least for the Japanese version of the game, we're going to get Terracotta Oasis, which you're also going to go there by boat. And then the last one is going to be Twilight Isle, so that's going to be an island as well. So I'm really not sure as to when we'll unlock this mountain area. Who knows, maybe we'll never unlock it and it's just there to tease us, which is not nice. So I'm not sure, maybe in one free update we're going to get something with this area. But yeah, I'm curious if you guys want to let me know what you think this area will be for. But anyway, back to 1.0.7, I think that's the change that will get most of you excited, is that they want to add reactions to villagers. They want to improve their facial expressions and their movements, which that's one thing that a lot of people complained about Olive Town, is that the villagers are kind of expressionless and there's no portraits. So I don't think they're gonna add portraits at this point, but as you can see, they don't have any kind of facial expressions or anything, so that's one thing I would like to add. So I would be happy to see some movement or just see some expressions on their face or something. And also maybe sometimes I would like to have a different camera angle. Like as of now, I don't see Lynn at all. So yeah, that's something they want to improve. So I'm glad to see that even months and months after the release, they're still putting out free updates. Yeah, the future is still bright for Olive Town. If you haven't got the game, maybe now is the time to get it, since the game is getting better and better. And yeah, I'm just curious overall, guys. Please let me know your thoughts about this update. Let me know if you're excited. Let me know if you're disappointed. And also, I'm really hoping that the 1.0.5 come out soon. Hopefully, who knows, maybe the North American and European version could get 1.0.5 and 1.0.6 at the same time or close to each other. But yeah, so there's no release date for this one yet. But yeah, hopefully in the next days or weeks. So that's gonna be pretty much it for today's video, guys. Please click like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and I'm gonna see you all in the next video.